pitiful. Theme song in 3, 2, 1. And welcome back to the Constitutionals Podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premier podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Episode 242 of the show. This week, we got another special thing going on for you, he says as he's reading emails. This is an interview I had with the very lovely, the very talented, the very smart Michelle Ortiz. If I could just find the email. Okay. Displaying what we're talking about. Michelle Ortiz is a very funny comedian and actress from the Hulu series The Fool. It's a very funny show about a gentleman working and living and working in South Central LA. And he works at has a nonprofit, I guess, I don't know, a company where he helps reform people who have been to jail. And it's a very offbeat comedy, very, very enjoyable, very easy breezy thing to watch. You can watch it on Hulu. Michelle Ortiz plays his on again, off again girlfriend. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the show. That's The Fool. It's a very light half-hour sitcom is the word I was looking for. Are the words I was looking for. Now, Michelle, not the reason I want to talk to her, but one of the reasons was she was on the revival of Mad TV, the one season revival of Mad TV, which she brought up during conversation, and we talked about that. It was a good experience for her, and she had a nice time. It was very nice for me to hear somebody talk about probably the second most forgotten season of that show. Not to be like an insult or anything, but people forgot Mad TV came back, and I say second most forgotten because I think that last season definitely probably wasn't as watched. But I love Mad TV. I grew up with it, and so it was nice to have somebody from the family. She got to meet a lot of the big names from that show, like Will Sasso and Nicole and Deborah, and I'm on a first name basis with a lot of them, so it's good to see. She was also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., a show that I love. Not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I don't watch that crap, but Netflix's I Think You Should Leave. She was on the show Mr. Mom, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was a show that was on let me see, Vudu. Let me see. I would double check this. I think it was on Vudu or IMDb TV. It's one of those. It was on a streaming service, Vudu. It was on Vudu. The with Hayes MacArthur. Listen to this cast: Hayes MacArthur, Andrea Anders, Seth Morris. These are people you know by name. You're like, why were they on a Voodoo show? But hey, it happened, and they got paid. They were paid, and there you go. She was also on Netflix's Hantified, which I've spoken to a couple of people from that show as well. Life in Pieces, Mom, Be Positive, Tacoma FD, Mr. Corman. All, I don't think Mr. Corman's a comedy, but all mostly comedies. Mr. Corman and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., not a comedy. I do want to go back. I feel like I insulted Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I did watch when I was into the superhero movies and stuff. I did watch that one of the episodes that tied in with Winter Soldier, and that's the end of that. I'll go back to hating it. She's also in a couple of Star Wars video games, including Star Wars Squadrons and Star Wars: The Old Republic. Michelle, I hate to say this. I don't say this about people often that I interview, but she has a great what's the term I'm looking for? Versatile voice, and I think that in the years to come, she will be one of the voices you'll hear. You know, when you hear like Tress MacNeille. Is that his name? Tress MacNeille on The Simpsons, which is a show I watch every single day, which is a fact. you that is she is somebody like that. She will definitely be somebody who you go, oh, that was Michelle. Okay, cool. Oh, Michelle, awesome. Oh, Michelle. So there you go. All right, that's enough of that. Coming up next, you will hear Michelle and my conversation. Hey, if you want to check out The Fool, then you can check it out there on Hulu. It's also, I think the season has ended. I think the first season has ended. So, and I am unsure. I think it's coming back. It's a very funny show. Check it out. It's very funny. I enjoyed my time with it. You can follow Michelle on Instagram at Michelle Ortiz. Follow her on Twitter, XO Michelio. Is that, please let this be her. I believe it is her Twitter. I don't think she's tweeted for a long time. So definitely check out the Instagram. The Instagram is the thing that is moving and grooving. You can see Michelle do comedy stuff on television. Watch for her. Trust me, she will be a big name when it comes to voice acting. All right, so here we go. Here's my what is this for? What am I doing? C plus comedy. Yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the podcast. All right, bye. Here we go. And we're back. Welcome back to the show. Let's see. This episode was supposed to drop last week. I actually have an excuse this time rather than not wanting to do anything. I was sick. I got a very bad cold, and it wasn't COVID. It was insane. It was like Friday, I went for a run, and then I worked out Friday. Actually, I think I woke up not feeling great, but I worked out Friday, went for a run. So I did my requisite 3 hours. That's not a joke. I worked out for 3 hours. And then I came back, and I remember not feeling good from that run. And then I remember taking a shower, and I usually go grocery shopping, but I did not. And I remember just sitting at home all day going, I'm just feeling worse and worse. And by Friday night, I was coughing and sneezing and stuff. And I said, this is bad. And then Saturday, unfortunately, I signed up to do some volunteer work. So I had to go through with that. I did the volunteer work, and then I got home, and then it was just not good. I just was not feeling anything. I was not feeling good or anything. And then I think midday I took a COVID test, and it said negative, and I was like, okay, well, I guess not COVID. But Saturday was probably the worst of it, and Sunday, obviously, I went out and bought some stuff to help with it, and then I had some stuff here, and then I drank some tea. It was something I drank some. Oh, it was coffee. I drank coffee. I drank tea. No, it was coffee. I drank tea on Sunday night, but I drank coffee. I drank a coffee, and I thought, and that definitely did help because something a little hot because it was chilly, I guess, last week. And then I've been on a recovery track since Sunday, so that was that. But I was Friday night and Saturday, I would say, all the way into the afternoon. I was just could not do anything. And then so that's why I couldn't put out this interview if Michelle's people are listening. I'm not lazy. Let's get into this first story. This comes from The Verge, which has been newly redesigned. If you're listening to this the same week that The Verge has been redesigned, Friday the 16th of September 2022. They actually redesigned it, I think, on Tuesday. They turned it into a blog type space, and they said, I remember Nilay Patel, who is, I guess, the owner and senior editor, he said, if it means we stop sitting around and debating whether or not a story should be written, and I'm paraphrasing, and written, and then we miss the deadline or whatever, and we have to link out to a different source, then so be it, which is I guess a very noble thing to do, because not everything needs to be its own headline or own story on your own website. Like if Wall Street Journal has all of the pertinent information, and you are just reiterating, and then at the bottom you have two paragraphs with this is what led to it, and then this is what led to that leading to that. So I worked in the news. I know how this stuff works, and I always hated when I was at NBC at our local affiliate. They would always somebody another station would talk about they would have an exclusive on like not even a fire. It would be something like, well, a fire. They have like an exclusive on a fire. Like a fire happened in the 2300 block of this street, and then they would have all the detail, or like it'd be like somebody's running for mayor, and then like they have all the details, and then you'd have to follow up with that, not with like the competitors thing, but you have to follow up the competitor's source essentially and go like, okay, if it's the fire, then go talk to the PIO chief of the station near them, and then that the chief doesn't want to talk to people. I think I've talked to them before, but the chief doesn't want to talk to people. They're like, what? Yes, there was a fire. Okay, goodbye. I can't tell you anything else. I mean, that's it. Or like somebody was running for mayor, like, yeah, that's all true. And then, I mean, yeah, obviously you have to come up with your own question for it, but does it really make sense? So, no, it does not. I don't know why I turned on these headphones. I usually keep them off. Anyway, fun. This is not a fun fact. Well, I don't have a video game headset, and we're bouncing around topics. I don't have a video game headset. I use these headphones that I took from the job I was laid off from. I have these Bose QC35s, first generation, not the second generation, cheap punks. And when I play video games, I plug them in directly into the PS5 controller, the Xbox One controller. Never the Switch. I've never used headphones on the Switch. And I remember when the Switch came out, and I promise we'll get to this first story. They did not have Bluetooth on it. And people were like, it's got a Bluetooth chip in it to connect with the Joy-Cons. Why don't they allow for you to have like Bluetooth headphones? And then people were like, well, it's latency, blah, blah, blah. And then like a year later, Nintendo activated the Bluetooth chip, and now you can use Bluetooth headphones. So it just, that's such a stupid thing for Nintendo to like, oh God, we can't use this Bluetooth chip. We've got like what is that gonna do? Anyway, I use these when I game. I used it last night, trying to chip through a game that I'm quite frankly sick of, that I've already beaten before, but I'm trying to beat again. Not for trophies or achievements or anything, but because I bought it twice. It was for the 360, and then it was it's GTA 5. And then I bought it on Xbox One. And then they released they did not update the Xbox One version or the PS4 version if you have a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. They re-released it on PS5 and Xbox Series X. Completely different game. And all they did was update, I guess, like the frames per second and the graphics, and that's it. Which is ridiculous. Which is insane because other games, such as Cyberpunk and The Witcher 3, and now Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, will be or are in the midst of, or already have updated their Xbox One or PS4 games for the PS5 and Xbox Series X to basically be those definitive versions. That's ridiculous. Rockstar is it's just, I will be amazed if GTA 6 is any better than GTA 5 in terms of single player and not ruining the online community. And I don't play games online, but they see the money is coming from online. Anyway, not a video game podcast. Let's get on to the story from The Verge, written by David Pierce. Amazon actually pulled off its first big deal football game. Last night was Thursday Night Football for the first time on Amazon. Amazon bought the rights from NBC, and they were supposed to start next year for next season. But that idea went away, and they said, we're going to do it this season. I believe that's what happened. It was about $1 billion for exclusive rights. That means on NBC last night, they played something else. I believe it was reruns of Law and Order, SVU, and the rest of the Law and Order universe, which is saying something. That, like, Thursday Night Football, I think, is synonymous with broadcast. Excuse me, football, sports are synonymous with broadcast, and it's so, especially with, baseball is limited. Excuse me, not baseball. Football is limited, and then when you look at baseball and we look at soccer, those, baseball, they play like 156 games, or baseball matches. they play 156 games per year, or per season rather, and it is like if Apple buying the rights to some baseball games, Peacock having the rights to some baseball games, ESPN having the rights to some games, and then the rest being spread out over Fox Sports One and every other TBS and everything. I go, okay, there's 156 games. There's 30, 40 some odd. I don't know how many teams there are in baseball. There's a lot. There's so many teams, tens and tens of teams, that you will have your fill either way. You can watch Los Angeles and Atlanta. You can watch New York and New York. You can watch you can watch anybody and have a night and have a decent time. But for football, there's a finite amount of games, and it's what feels like a finite amount of games. And that when they're in the limelight, their publicized is a big thing. When it's Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, and now Saturday Night Football, those are huge. And then there's the day games, then Christmas and the holidays and all that stuff. So for this to be on streaming now, I think is a huge, huge, huge deal. And not only is it a huge deal, but where Apple faltered, and I think is still faltering with Apple TV and Friday Night Baseball games, Amazon Prime really took it out of the park. And I can say that because I watched a minimum 5 minutes of that game last night. There's the Amazon app, the Prime Video app, and I hate to give them credit because they just updated it. And before it was the one I would say the crappiest app, but now they just updated it, and it's a decent app to work with, especially on Chromecast or Google TV, where it was just piss poor. But now it's something to work with. But they use their X-ray technology to show you stats, to show you replays, to show you everything inside that app while the game is still going on. So on the bottom half, I'm going to show you the timer that I'm working with. On the bottom half of the screen was stats, and on the top half was the video of the game. And you could turn it landscape if you don't want to watch that. They had the regular Thursday night broadcast with Al Michaels and who else was with Al Michaels? I'm sorry, this is embarrassing because he left. They had Al Michaels, and I forgot who was Al Michaels. And then Carissa Thompson was also there. She wasn't commentating, but she was the pregame show host. And it just, everything works smoothly. And for the most part, I didn't get an email about slowdowns or crashing or anything. It really, really worked. Amazon really is throwing their force behind it. There's a Prime logo, obviously, as one should be. Prime logo in the video. There were the logo from Amazon was all over the place. There were promotional segments from Audible. There was talking about Alexa. Ask Alexa who did the thing. I mean, we see those in regular broadcasts too. I mean, now that those things exist, but whatever. Anyway, Amazon Prime, holy cow, did a good job. There were a lot of ads. Apparently, I did come across an ad break when I realized, oh, Thursday Night Football's on. It was like 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and I was like, let me check this out. It was 9 o'clock because I was in bed. While I heard people outside partying. Don't you people work on Friday? Oh, God. This is David wrote here. Is that his name? I forgot. I completely, because I was just on a tangent. Pierce. Mr. Pierce, yes. Mr. Pierce added that, let's see. Amazon keeps saying its views in NFL investment. It views its NFL investment as a long game, one that would ultimately be much bigger than ad revenue. It clearly wants Prime to grow more than it needs a few. What? It clearly wants Prime to grow more than it needs a few more of T-Mobile and Chipotle's ad dollars. And then they concluded this tweet: a stunning amount from Roger Sherman. A stunning amount of the ads on Amazon Prime are for Amazon Prime, the service I'm paying for to watch ads. Which is, yeah, they did have a lot of ads for that for themselves. But it was good. Then they also had alternate broadcasts for like ESPN does alternate broadcasts that were born out of the pandemic. But now that we have this technology and now that we need more programming, like ESPN has the Manning cast on Monday Night Football. Amazon had an alternate broadcast featuring Dude Perfect at YouTube Sensations, the Christian White YouTube Sensations. from Texas at their facility in Texas doing some type of events while watching the game live, which is very cool. They won't be in every single one, and I think they're going to have multiple different acts for their alternate broadcast, but it worked. It was fast enough for me to bounce around between it. I enjoyed my time with it. It seems like people were in and out of it. And Al Michaels gave, as always, really good at what he does. Amazon, 14 more games. They have 14 more games. So we will see where this heads. I do believe that, they could do more Amazon stuff, like include a buy button for, whatever pops up on screen. But thank goodness they didn't do that. I think the idea should be that the game comes first. Nothing should interrupt the game. Once they have too many ads, I think people will talk about that stuff. Once, something overtakes the stats, people are going to get mad. But next time I'll check it out on TV. Like I should have, instead of my phone. I feel guilty for not looking on TV. Hey, this next one comes from Wall Street Journal, written by Jessica Tunkel. What a great name. Paramount considers discontinuing Showtime streaming service, merging with Paramount Plus. Now, this has since been not refuted, but a little bit rebutted by the main man himself in charge of Paramount. So here's the gel. Here's the skinny. Paramount Global, a couple of weeks ago, just launched the Showtime hub on Paramount Plus, for lack of a better term. You can still get Showtime outside of Paramount Plus. You can still get Showtime with your cable provider. You can still get Showtime on YouTube TV, Apple channels, Amazon channels, wherever you want to get Showtime. However, if you have the Paramount Plus app and you want Showtime and you don't want to use two apps, you can just pay for Showtime within Paramount Plus and get them both for essentially a reduced price of $12 right now. That ends October 12th. I believe it'll go up to $15 at the end of that promotion. As well as it'll be $12 for the foreseeable future, or until Paramount Global goes. We should raise the price on that, which is a true thing that these companies do. The idea is for people who want both of those to just be able to access Showtime within the Paramount Plus app versus going off to the Showtime app itself. Okay, great idea. Now they're mulling the idea that Showtime should just be folded. Not Showtime the name, not Showtime the company, but Showtime the app should just be folded, and everything should be available in the Paramount Plus app, which is the next logical step. Now, it's not something that I'm back and forth on all this, and it's neither here nor there, but it is here. But the idea is that you can be able to watch Showtime stuff on your Paramount stuff. And then I believe Bob Bakish is the guy. Bob Bakish. Yes, Bob Bakish. Or a spokesperson. I remember he said that. I think it was Bob Bakish came out and said those were just rumors. We're always focused on the Showtime name and blah blah blah. However, I think that I mean at this point you might as well, everybody's kind of tooting their own horn when it comes to that stuff. And I saw we'll get into some Disney stuff later, but I was cycling yesterday. So yesterday, September 15th, 2022, I was watching CNBC as I usually do, and I saw a crawl that said Bob Chapek, too many friggin' Bobs, said Hulu and Disney Plus would eventually, the Hulu stuff would roll into Disney Plus. And I have found articles on it. Let's go to Deadline, because Deadline's for whoa, 2 days ago. Oh, Bloomberg. Okay, Bloomberg. All right. I can't get into Bloomberg. I'll go into Hollywood Reporter. So this one comes from Hollywood Reporter, written by J. Clara Chan, my good friend. Chapek says Comcast would need to offer, quote, reasonable terms for Disney to... Oh, wait, this is a whole different thing. Hold on. The Comcast people have hinted at what's it called? at buying out Hulu. And then Bob Chapek's like, "Hey, if you want to buy Hulu, we gotta be able to say what's up." Oh wait, hold on. This is basically the same thing. Um, but Chapek also did insinuate that quote we'd have to have full ownership of Hulu to integrate in Disney Plus. That's the only thing stopping him at this point. From pulling everything off of Hulu, essentially from destroying Hulu and loading everything up on Disney Plus. And then the same thing, HBO Max is going to go on Discovery Plus. In fact, I think those are the worst ideas. All right, you're going to roll everything into everything fine. It needs to happen the opposite way. Discovery Plus, it needs to go into HBO Max. And then Disney Plus, they just updated the app this week, at least. I don't know. At least the play bar is different. Because fast forwarding is way more difficult. But it is... Disney Plus and Discovery Plus are not the better apps. Hulu feels like you're watching TV. It feels like the next iteration of TV. It feels like you're choosing what to watch next. It feels like I am looking through a library of stuff. Versus on Disney Plus, I'm there for 6 specific reasons. I'm going to watch The Simpsons. I'm going to watch the movie with the squirrel that has superpowers. I'm going to watch one more thing, Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers. And it doesn't make sense. Hulu has more discovery versus for Disney Plus, I'm offered the same things all the time. I'm offered the same Simpsons shorts. I'm offered the same throwback cartoons. And yeah, it's because that's the stuff I watch. But, I watched an episode of She-Hulk. I'm offered, because you watch She-Hulk, here's some other Marvel stuff. But that's not really tuning into who I am. What I am as a person. Uh-oh, Marlon Brando's here. No, I lost it. Do you know Robert De Niro is married to 2 black women? It's very true. I've been thinking about it for the past couple of weeks. It's just amazing. It's amazing what you find out about people. He's only been married twice. He's been married to 2 different black women. Good for you, man. I have so much respect for him now. So that's the merge talk. I think next year we'll find, and we'll even continue off of this. This comes from the Hollywood Reporter, written by Kim Masters. Warner Bros. Discovery has bigger problems than its DC search. Listen, I work for the company. I would love to keep my job. They're going through layoffs right now. I enjoy it. I don't agree with everything that's happening, but I love the company. I want to continue working for them. That being said, this is obviously this is an article about the DC fiasco where they had to, or they didn't have to, where Batgirl was written off and now it's in a vault somewhere, and Black Adam and Shazam and everything was going to be moved around, and Walter Hamada, the guy who Ray Fisher doesn't like, was so irate at Batgirl being canned that he was going to leave the company, and also David Zaslav is trying to find their Marvel guy, Kevin Feige. Jesus, I was like, I got an email and I looked over at my phone, and then the Phantom of the Opera is closing. Anyway. And now and then people are like, well, DC's fragmented. J.J. Abrams, Zack Snyder, Todd Phillips, they all have their own different takes on DC and all this stuff. But I think there's a lot of stuff that could happen with DC, with Warner Bros. Discovery and DC at this point. But what is hinted at by Ms. Clara Chan in this article, in this piece, it's a feature piece. It's not an article, it's in this feature piece, is that there are several possibilities of what could happen, not with just DC, but with Warner Bros. Discovery. There was a letter of due diligence from a due diligence firm on behalf of an unspecified client asking for his evaluation of a former exec's evaluation of Zaslav's leadership style, David Zaslav's leadership style, strategic plans, and likelihood of success. Now, this all points to these various possibilities, which include a potential acquirer digging around, a dissident shareholder sniffing for weakness, a hedge fund trying to place a bet, and many more. What Claire Chan gets into in the later part of this is that even Warner Bros. Discovery is not up. Is not what's the word I'm looking for? Not beyond a merger of its own. Yes, still going through the throes of a merger. The company could happen with another merger or some type of negotiation, like a debt relief of something at some point within the next year. Those talks can start April 2024. At that point, Chan writes, many industry observers believe that Comcast Brian Roberts will make a long-awaited move looking to combine NBC Universal and Warner Bros. Discovery. That's too big. Now, that's too big. That's Disney, Fox, and Disney 20th Century and, Amazon. That's way too much. That's way too big. They did meet. Roberts and NBCU CEO Jeff Shell met with Zaslav and board member John Malone during the Allen & Co. gathering in Sun Valley last July, but given the rules against plotting any combination, that was no doubt just a friendly get-together. It's very possible another merger could be in effect. But going back to NBC Universal, if anything, I think that. Oh, and then also there's a line in here that I love that like it is the reason I chose. Oh, it's not this one. Is it this one? Let's see. There's one of them. One article in here says something so funny about Peacock. Okay. So here's so if NBC Universal and Warner Bros. Discovery formed a new company together, that deal would face some interesting antitrust issues. But would give his company scale and a viable streaming service. Obviously, Peacock sucks, says one exec with knowledge of both companies. Peacock does suck. Peacock is not a good streaming service. It is when Amazon Prime. No, Peacock was worse than Prime before that update. I think Peacock is so hard to get around, and they just updated it themselves, but it's not updated on iPad, which I'm pointing to right here, which is right here as the soundboard, or my phone, which is what you saw as the timer. It is, but it's true. So NBC Universal is pulling stuff off of Hulu. They still have that Comcast still has that stake in Hulu. What could possibly happen? What I see happening, because a merger will not happen. I do see a partnership of some sort. I do see possibly NBC Universal stuff being loaded onto Hulu on HBO Max. Perhaps they go, okay, the NBC Universal, NBCU, I'll just say NBCU we'll take some of the brunt of some of your losses and we'll re-up and we'll throw some money in on HBO Max or Discovery Plus, whatever the main platform is going to be, and then you'll see some Law and Order, you'll see Night Court, you'll see which I've been rewatching Night Court. It's a fantastic show. You'll see some Cheers is Paramount, but you'll see Cheers is on Hulu though. Yeah, no, it's not. They took it off. All right, but you'll see some NBCU stuff, Parks and Rec pop up on HBO Max or whatever. All right. That is if Comcast says we're done with Hulu. I don't think that's going to happen. That is one possibility. I do see a partnership. I truly do not believe a merger is going to happen. If a merger happens, I'll be flabbergasted. But NBC Universal is not in the superhero game, and perhaps they want to help out with the DC stuff. Will Warner Bros. Discovery get rid of DC? I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think they need a Kevin Feige figure. I do think that it would be best if the company continued on, because obviously the connected world stuff isn't working out for them. As much as I love Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I believe DC execs have since come back and said that it was a waste of time. They shouldn't have released it. I think it's a great movie. I think it's a fantastic film. Like, I'm not joking. That is like a seriously one of my favorite superhero movies. And you know what? But I also enjoyed. I did enjoy No Way Home. I'm thinking about that now. I did enjoy No Way Home. So yeah, I enjoyed all that stuff. Not all of it. there's lots of it I enjoy. I enjoyed Shazam. You know, I might go see Black Adam. I enjoyed She-Hulk episode 1. She-Hulk episode 1 is great. I'm trying to balance it out. Marvel and DC stuff. I mean, it's all the same. It's all the same, and I'm tired. But I don't think everything needs to be connected. Joker and the Joker movie and the Batman both separately did fantastically, and they don't live in each other's worlds. They live in separate worlds. Zack Snyder's Justice League did, I think, well, because it was talked about after the fact, and it was an auteur. It felt like an auteur's film. I'm not joking. It felt like an auteur's film. And same thing goes for Spider-Man No Way Home. You know, without Doctor Strange, it could have been just an insular Spider-Man movie that dealt with the Spider-Verse, multiverse, or whatever the heck. Anyway, I need to watch another Marvel superhero movie. First of all, I need to watch another superhero movie because I don't think I can recall anything. We just don't need to connected worlds. I think, you know, if I were Zaslav and I just bought Warner Brothers and they tried this connected world thing, I would go, okay, well, you know, Shazam, Black Adam, Wonder Woman, that mainline stuff, that can work over there. But we can also introduce this kind of offbeat stuff that includes Joker and the Batman. I think audiences, you know, the thing is like confusion. They don't want to confuse people, and that goes for Marvel as well. That goes for every single movie studio. They don't want to confuse people, so you can't have multiple, you know, superhero. You can have multiple Superman movies. You can't have multiple James Bonds at the same time, which wouldn't make sense. But the thing is, it all doesn't matter. I think people are smart enough to go, okay, well, Ben Affleck's Batman is in this world, and Robert Pattinson's Batman in this world, and then, you know, even for those Marvel Netflix shows where they refuse to acknowledge the movies, they could go, oh, okay, well, that Charlie Cox's Daredevil did that, but now Charlie Cox's Daredevil is on this part of the, you know, in the Disney Plus shows. It's all the same. It's all the same. It doesn't matter. Whatever. All I'm saying is, Zaslav put me in charge. Baby, I'm already part of the company. I'm a company man. Put me in charge. I'll slide on in there. Okay, these last few. Let's do this. This comes from the Vox. This comes from Vox. Read by Peter Kafka, Why Disney Didn't Buy Twitter. At one point, Disney was interested in buying Twitter when Robert Iger was in charge. In his 2019 memoir, he said the boards of both Disney and Twitter had agreed to the deal, but then he had second thoughts because Twitter is nasty. Twitter has nastiness, and it's rampant. And he's true and correct. In Iger's own words, he said, we weren't intent on going into the streaming business. We needed a technology solution. We have all this great IP. I'm skipping ahead. 5 years, $500 million. It wasn't the money. It was the time because the world was changing fast. And at the same time, we heard that Twitter was contemplating a sale. What would have happened if Disney bought Twitter? Like what? Like they would. I mean, they would use the technology to promote Disney stuff, but what would have happened on January 6th? Well, I know Bob Chapek would have been excited. Anyway, I don't think a Disney Twitter thing would have been relevant or prevalent, and in fact, I think they would have done the same thing they did with Vice. Is they would devalue it and then sell it. That's exactly what would have happened. Now, moving on, just continue with Disney. Written by Cynthia Littleton over at Variety, Bob Chapek talks Disney Plus, ESPN, and Hulu future, and hints at hard bundle integration to come. That's what I was talking about before. Here's it's an interview after D23, and they're talking about expanding and continually making Disney movies and shows and IP and really bringing everything into the Disney world. So Chapek essentially says that 2023 is going to be, this essentially they couldn't do anything during the pandemic. So you're essentially going to see this exploding cascade of Disney IP. They're talking about metrics with Disney Plus and the streaming businesses and everything, and how they know more now than they have ever known before, and how COVID really affected them. So the first 100 years of basically Disney were more expansive, were pretty expansive, but now these next 100 are going to be just insane. So they're going to leverage Marvel, Lucasfilm, Pixar, ESPN, ABC, everything to make sure that Disney is everywhere. They're not going to spin off ESPN as one investor had called for, and then that investor said that they didn't think that's a good idea in the first place. They will be doing something with ESPN though. If anything, I think just fold ESPN Plus into Hulu. But I understand that some people just want to watch ESPN. I don't know why you would just do that, but whatever. And fold ESPN Plus into Hulu, not fold ESPN. Just fold ESPN Plus into Hulu. Because ESPN Plus as an app sucks. Comcast still owns 33% of Hulu. They're going to be talking about that timetable buyout. Discussions have still been going on for that as well, for negotiations. Again, I think Hulu should be a promised land in the middle and should not have to worry about stuff like this. Coming up, this comes from The Wrap, written by Brandon Katz. Meow, meow. CBS launches a new initiative to provide more TV roles for performers with disabilities. This is just like CBS's, or Paramount, not CBS, CBS's diversity initiative from a couple of years ago. CBS announced Thursday its Performers with Disabilities Talent Initiative is going to be happening starting in this 2022-2023 broadcast season. A couple of years ago, CBS, sorry, I saw a little fur ball in the corner of my eye. I was like, the heck is she doing? She ate something on my charger, on my my USB-C charger for my phone, for the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Anyway, a couple of years ago, CBS took effect, and quite frankly, I believe it's working. They said that for their, I don't know if it's just reality shows, but for their shows, they're doing 50% casting for people of color, which is fantastic. And now they're going to be doing the same thing, not 50%, but they're going to be doing the same thing for people for actors with disabilities. That is such a huge step, and I'm so glad they're doing it. I'm so glad they're announcing it, because often actors with disabilities seem to go unnoticed. We hear people complain like, oh, there's no queer things, there's no black things, there's no Asian things. But now people with different disabilities are going to be able to, do we say differently able? Do we say disabilities? I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble. No one listens to the show anyway. But now we're going to be able to see these people more on television. I saw, there's an episode of Claws where Jen Lyon, I believe that's her name, Jen Lyon, the gorgeous Jen Lyon. Is it Jen Lyons or Jen Lyon? Nope. Jen Lyons is an author. I don't know. Claws. I'm just going to search Claws. Yeah, it's Jen Lyon. Jen Lyon and the man that plays her husband, Bryce, Kevin Rankin. I remember there was a scene where they're sitting in their house, and I think like their lawyer was in a wheelchair, and the lawyer said something, and the lawyer left the scene. And the only way that they didn't have to do this, but they addressed that the lawyer was also you don't have to address anything, but the lawyer was in a wheelchair when the lawyer rolled out of there, for like a better term. Jesus. They followed him like by rolling their bodies along with it. It was a very funny joke. It wasn't at anybody's expense. It was just like that's how they followed him. Anyway, now we get to see differently able people. There's going to include the initiative includes some advancement programs for careers, casting 101, acting workshops, open calls. There's going to be a yearly open call in advance of each pilot season. That's good for people with different abilities. And I love this. Let's keep pushing the narrative that everybody can act. We can have more queer people. We can have more colored people. We can have more differently abled people. The only beings we need to not have are those friggin' aliens from Planet Gleekthorpe. Hold for applause. And stop. Let's keep doing this. That was way too long of a pause. Let's keep doing this. Bring people to the forefront. All right. I'm going to save this one for next week. Listen, that's it. I got to save this one for next week because it is a bigger one than I thought it was going to be. Because I didn't think I was going to have any stories. But here we are. We have so many stories. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where I've got more interviews, more news times coming out. I promise you they will be coming out. They're all planned. They're all planned, and they'll all just go up, no editing at all. It's going to be cold open, theme song, episode. That's it. And I promise I'll be back on track. If you want to see a video version of this show, youtube.com/cpluscomedy. See me sitting in a shirt I bought from TJ Maxx. I think I used that last week too, or last time too. You can see, also if you want to see the video version, you can see two of the same boxes that are, I think, probably 10 feet from each other. I'm in a wedding next week, and I had to buy a suit because I'm a groomsman, and the pants didn't fit because I got some thick thighs, baby, and now I got to return one of these pants. In fact, I got to go pick up the other ones from the tailor. Any Hoosers. It's none of your business. Instagram, Twitter @CPlusComedy. Oh, also on YouTube.com/CPlusComedy is News Time, our premiere show. It's like Disney, not Disney. It's like Disney, The Daily Show, except less funny. Take one topic, talk about it. But and jokes are in there, and usually it's written. But for the past 8 months, hasn't been written. Twitter, Instagram @CPlusComedy. Me on Twitter, Instagram @ChatBlackWhite. Like us on Facebook. Rate, review, subscribe. Tell your friends about this show. Hey, if you listen, if you are an agent or a publicist rather, reach out to me. I'll interview a client if they're good at what they do. You know how many no's I'm throwing out there. All right, thanks for listening. I appreciate it. Bye.